Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you're doing well. I haven't even woke up good yet, I don't think. I've been up for a long time, but I just can't seem to get woke up good. Maybe this other cup of coffee will do it here. Let's see who we got hanging out with us this morning. We got John Howard's in the house. Good morning, John. Leo Steger is in the house. Just hope y'all had a good weekend. Appreciate the thumbs up. Thomas Grimm, good morning. Larry Galt says, morning, everyone. Monday again. Ender going strong all weekend. Awesome. You have anything that you printed you can share with us, Larry, or is it all top secret stuff? Let's see. Gary Hammett's here. Good morning. George is here. Happy Monday morning to you all. Finally, a day of no rain, no oppressive heat. Well, I think the oppressive heat's going to be hanging around down here. It was hot as heck yesterday. I mean, it was like, I think 92 or something, but it was one of those feels like 99 kind of deals with the humidity. Just open the door and it just smacks you in the face. One of those kind of days. I was pretty lazy yesterday. I didn't do a whole lot. Let's see. Solar Man's in the house. How you doing, Ryan? Good to have you back on the Saturday night gig. Kevin Els is in the house. Good morning, Kevin. Clyde is here. Good morning, Clyde. Let's see. Landis says, good morning. Busy weekend. Ran internet to the shop and added cameras. Okay, cool. I did very little 3D printing this weekend, but I have to say I made one of the handiest little things. Well, actually, I might have done this Friday. But anyway, I made this little hook thing. I made a whole bunch of these, and these are the handiest things, and I'll show you why. Here's a picture I took just a few minutes ago because I thought, well, when I hold this up, I'm sure somebody's going to say, well, what do you do with that thing? But here's what I do with it. I have these, if you look, I'm going to move my arrow over here. You see the three lights. The way these little LED thing that you buy these in like a pack of 6, and then you can see like the one on the far left will plug. It has a little cable and it plugs from there to the middle one. Then there's one on the back end of the middle one that plugs to the front one. And anyway, you can kind of daisy chain these together. You can see what I did with these little hook things. This whole thing, you just unplug the cable and then slide this over the whole strip light and then plug it back in. And then I almost didn't, you can't see the hook really good, but it goes up there and hooks into this wireframe rack. So just super handy. Plus it's not a snug fit, so you can slide these all up and down the thing wherever you want them. But this is why I love 3D printing stuff, because you can just come up with an idea, draw it up real quick. And I really probably, I made these like 6 millimeter thick. They probably could have been a lot thinner, but me, I like to make stuff that's not going to break. So just really happy with how those turned out. They work perfect. Absolutely perfect. Let's see. Larry says he made some battery holsters. Yeah, I knew. Yeah, you said you were gonna make some stuff for your batteries. That's cool and handy. And Jesse's here this morning. Good morning, Jesse. Solar Man says just dropped the wife and kids at the airport. Was going to get a lift and work on the building, but supposed to thunderstorm most of the day. Yeah, if that's the forecast, you probably better hold off. Probably better hold off on that. George says that light holder is a home run. Well, it's nothing to brag about, but it's, it's works. That's what I like about doing this 3D printing stuff. It doesn't have to be fancy, and this this is not fancy, but I basically just took the caliper and went and said, okay, the light's about this wide, it's about this tall, and of course it's round at the bottom because of that round plastic lens. And and then just made the little hook part right here that just does it. In fact, I made it so a little snug so that when you put it on the thing, it kind of snaps to that little wire on there. It works fantastic. So, and then I made another thing. Nobody will know what the heck this is, but it's a important piece. Or at least I think it's going to be an important piece. And I don't see Sean on here today because he has, I sent him the file and he printed one of these. But this thing here, when you put the, you've got this fastened on here, and this is the little brass or bronze, whatever that is, Acme nut, but it's only half of it because the other half, you use another piece and a spring, and both these pieces have notches in them so that they go together. You compress that spring and they go like this. So, but what I made this for is once I get that spring compressed and get it in there, there's really theoretically, there's no way once you put the lead screw in there and they're compressed all the way, there's really no way for it to come out. But just to take up the rest of the gap on the hole on the opposite side, I made this. I can't turn it the right way. I still can't do it. There it is. Got a hole in it that is a little bigger than the Acme lead screw. And then this, now I get it stuck in there. But what I did is I compressed the spring in both halves of that, measured that, and then subtracted that from the overall width of this. So now I know when I take this and drive it in that hole and get it flush with this side, that there will be just enough room right here. So then that thing should never come loose, which, like I said, theoretically, the way those things work, it shouldn't come loose anyway. But I thought that would just be a little extra thing, and plus make it look a little nicer so you don't have that big old hole on the other side. But you got to have that hole big enough to get the head of that thing on there. So anyway, I'm going to try to install it. I had planned on doing that this weekend, but it was so dadgum hot out there. I just I decided I would do more stuff indoors than to mess around like that. But anyway, who's got big plans for the week? I did get my my grass cut. What day was that? I think that was Friday too. Got it cut, and I don't think we've got more than just a little smidgen of rain since then. So now that I've got it cut good and short, we'll probably have a 3-week drought again, and it'll all turn brown. But anyhow, still got a few. Of course, you can see in this picture, there's my little 5-gallon container with my little 5 net pots. And I need to finish picking up some PVC couplers. I need 9 of those, and then I need like a piece of 1-inch Schedule 40 PVC about 2 foot long, and then I'll be cutting that, and I can actually go ahead and start working on building what's going to replace what you just saw in that picture eventually. Uh, Jesse says, my grandson will be here Thursday, coming to live with me and go to auto technician school here. Awesome. Good deal. Good deal. That is fantastic. Always good to have somebody who can fix stuff in the family. That's a good thing. Let's see. What else I got? Nobody's saying much over there. So I'll try to think of something else to talk about. I hate to even talk about the news, but that's the one thing that jumped out at me this morning. I saw actually, it wasn't on the local news. It was on a YouTube video, but it was from 11 Alive, which is a news station in Atlanta. It's not one that I watch, but it had a YouTube video, and they said there was 14 a shooting of 14 people in Atlanta over the weekend. I'm thinking, dang, Chicago ain't got nothing on us. And then it was like they said there was 2 men between the ages of 18 and 21 and 6 girls between the ages of 16 and 21. I'm like, holy cow, what's wrong with people, man? Don't know. Just don't know. Yeah, Ryan had a few escapades with his drone, I think. Yeah. Does the drone, I mean, you don't have to mention the brand if you don't want to, but did the drone that you purchased, did it have the GPS stuff? And the reason I ask is because I have basically 2 drones. The first drone that I bought has I haven't played around with drones in a while, so I can't remember the right terminology, but it has some kind of thing built into it where it's supposed to maintain its altitude. In other words, you can make it hover. Okay. And then, of course, the other one that I bought that I've never flown, it's never been in the air, is a DJI Mavic Air. I bought the Fly More package several years ago, sitting in the other room in there in the box. I never, paid $1,000 for it. Never have put it up in the air. But I did take the other little inexpensive thing and thought, well, I'll try to play around with this one so that I get a little bit familiar, and then I'll do the other one. But here's the problem. Usually the cheaper or let's just say less expensive drones. Well, the easiest way to say it is the more money you spend on a drone, that probably probably the easier it is to fly, because it has all that stuff that costs money that make it where it does all these things automatically. For example, the DJI Mavic Air drone that I never put in the air, those things practically fly themselves. You tell it to go up and everything, and if it goes and it gets so far that it loses its signal, it kicks into the automatic return home thing, and it knows exactly how to fly and come right back. They basically fly themselves. The inexpensive drones, not so much. Like I said, this one had and again, I can't remember what it's called, but it was something that helps it maintain the altitude, not attitude, altitude, but it did not have the GPS stuff. So it would, and I had it out there and I would just like try to float it uh, you know, 10 feet in the air. And it would basically do that. But it also, if there was any little breeze, it was moving around. Whereas the other ones that have the GPS, they practically hold still. You know, a lot of guys will use those as cameras that put it out in front of you and have it point, and it, and it looks like somebody's out there holding a camera. So, uh, like I said, I don't know what kind you got, but that if it did have all that other GPS stuff, then yeah, it was going crazy, as you as I think you said. Um, but yeah, maybe one day I'll get brave and get that. I just don't have a good place here, and then everywhere. The more I wished I'd have really researched it more. I mean, I watched a ton of videos like I always do, and I knew that if you were going to use it for a YouTube video and your YouTube channel is monetized, that you have to have that pilot's license, which is kind of silly to me. But anyway, rules are rules. And but then I thought, well, I won't use it for YouTube. I won't use it for anything to make money, but I'll just use it to play around. But where I'm at, I have to go somewhere, and I don't know of any good place to go where somebody wouldn't be, because people don't like drones. They think you're spying on them and stuff like that. So, I mean, I can imagine if I took it and put it up in the air and kept it low enough that because once you get them, the max is like 400 feet. You're allowed to go. And then once you get them up that high, you can't really hear them. They're pretty stealthy. But if you have them just 100 feet or 150 feet or so, you can still hear them. And if you fly over bodies, like I got my neighbor over here, he's got a swimming pool. He had a swimming pool for years. I didn't even know he had one till I looked at the Google satellite image one time. I thought, I'll be darned, he's got a nice pool back there. But I'm sure if I was to fly it over there or something, it would piss people off because they think I'm trying to spy on them or something. But so I just never, I just said, heck with it. I put it back in the box and never put it in the air because I don't know of a good place to go where I can just enjoy scenery and not have some whiny Karen come up and go, you can't do that here. So that's why mine's still in the box. Let's see here. Ryan says, yes, it was a decent one. Got it on Prime Day. Some China brand, but had good reviews. Okay. Leo says DJI FPV. Yeah, I can't remember what that stands for, but Leo says left. Okay. Ryan says it has lots of added features like follow me, circling around an object, return home. Okay. Well, maybe if it has that, it probably has the GPS stuff. I mean, and that's why those things cost so much money. It's not so much that the little motors and the props and all that stuff's pretty cheap. It's the electronics that have all that smart stuff on it. Is what runs into the money. All the GPS. And like I said, the more you spend, really the easier they are to fly, as far as I can tell. First person view. Thank you, Gary. I thought that's what it was, but I didn't want to embarrass myself. Like that's ever stopped me before, right? Yeah. Anyway, well, that I hope. Are you going to try to replace it with something else, or get them to send you another one? Ryan, or I think, I don't know if you did this, but I think you should set a camera up to record when you get ready to do that so that we can all laugh together and see it flying off into the, well, I guess it didn't fly off into the sunset. It just flew off and then dropped like a rock or something, I think he said. Yeah. Like I said, that little inexpensive one that I tried out back, you know, I was trying to hover it and stuff, and I thought, oh yeah, this isn't so bad. But I could tell that it didn't have the GPS, so it would move. It wouldn't be steady; it would hover. And I thought, well, let me just try. So I would move it just real, a little bit, and then I'd move it back. Being really careful. And the next thing I know, I tried to do something, and it took off and went and hit a limb, fell over the fence. Had to get the ladder out to climb get over the fence and go retrieve it. And then I thought, enough of this. But anyway, okay. Ryan said he's going to get another one. Okay, good deal. Good deal. Clyde says electronics have come a long way since calculators were invented. Yeah. I can remember. I'm old enough to remember when the little, well, not even one that looks like this, but the little Texas Instruments or whatever, they were pretty expensive back then for what they did. I mean, they don't do nothing like the ones they have now. Now you can probably pick one up like this for 99 cents or something. That's solar powered and does most mathematical calculations that I need. But yeah, the world sure has changed. It's all that electronic stuff is. I forget what somebody help me. Somebody probably knows what I'm trying to think of, but there's some kind of thing where it's like every so many years something doubles or triples or something like that. Y'all remember what that is? And you think about it, the amount of the chip size and the amount of just like I have and they probably have some that have a lot more, but I have a little bitty SD card, a little bitty one, the micro SD card that you can put 32 gig of information on it. And I'm thinking, how in the heck? And like I said, let's see, this one here. This is not a micro. This is the regular SD card. This is the one that broke. But it's a 32 gig, and they got them way higher than that. And how do you put all that on that little thing? It's amazing. But I don't know how they do it. Let's see. George says, I've watched a lot of sailing channels. They use drones to get some very interesting shots. However, they also talk about their failures. It's a crapshoot to start out. Yeah. I would be scared to death, and again, I've like when I was getting ready to buy a drone, I watched all kinds of videos. And these guys would go out over big lakes and all this, and they get beautiful footage. But I'm thinking, I can just see me the first time putting that thing out. It would get lost. It'd go down in the water and it'd be gone, and I'm like, that's $1,000. Just like that. I'm like, nah, I don't have that kind of money to throw away. So, okay, Moore's Law. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah. That's what I was looking for, and I think let's see if I can do this real quick. Yep, it popped right up there. Okay, yeah, this is exactly what I was trying to think of. Thank you, Kevin. You hit the nail on the head here. It says Moore's law is a term used to refer to the observation made by Gordon Moore in 1965 that the number of transistors in a dense integrated circuit doubles about every 2 years. Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to think of. I knew it was something, but I couldn't at all remember what it was. So thank you for that. 32 gig used to take up the space of a house when I was younger. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I watched like I said, I've been kind of lazy this weekend because it was so ridiculously humid and hot out there, sticky. And I have been, I get on these little binge things where I watch stuff. And I have been going back to my, on my TV is a Vizio, and it has this free watch. I think it's called Watch Free or something like that. And it has a bunch of channels, you know, and sometimes there's good stuff on, sometimes there's not. But anyway, I absolutely love watching cold case files. I love watching those people that are just amazing that solve these crimes and murders, and I mean really terrible stuff people do. It's amazing when you think about what people do to one another. But I got since I was just sitting around inside soaking up the AC, I got to watching a lot of those, and I love watching those guys that are, will pick up a file that's, it's a cold case and it's 25 or 30 years old, and that sucker's thinking he's got away with it. And now they come back and they go back through the evidence, or an article of something, maybe a cigarette butt or something. They go, oh yeah, back then DNA wasn't, they didn't know much. But man, it's amazing what they can do. And I have no clue how they do it, but they'll take just the cigarette butt and they cut just the paper off the end of the filter up by where they would stick it in their mouth, and take just a quarter inch by quarter inch piece of that paper that's years old, and put it in that stuff, extract the DNA, and go, boom, we got him, and then they go get him. And I just love that stuff. Now, maybe I'm a little on the weird side, but I love watching those guys get caught. I wished it would be a lot quicker, but they're thinking, yeah, it's been 30 years since I killed my wife. They'll never get. And there's some of those dudes, man. They I watched this one. Um, I guess it was yesterday. This dude killed his wife, and then he decided to build a plywood box. And he built this skinny, narrow box, but he didn't want to make it real big to where it would look like a coffin. So he made it shorter. And then since his wife wouldn't fit in there, he just took a hacksaw and cut her legs off so that all of it would fit in there. And I'm thinking, man, what a low down son of a gun. He got caught eventually. They got him. And it wasn't the only, and a lot of these guys, it's not the only one they do that to. That's like they'll kill off one and years go by, and then they're like, okay, well, I got away with that one. And I'm kind of getting tired of this new one I got. So let me just get rid of her too. So it's just amazing, the technology and stuff that they have today that they can use not only on today's crimes, but crimes from many years back. So, but I just love when they I love watching the guy's face when they go to slap the cuffs on him after 30 something years. And he's thinking, yeah, I got away with this stuff. Oh, wait a minute. No, guess I didn't. Anyway, enough about me. Let's get out of here and get this Monday started here. Let's see. Larry says, I remember 10 meg hard drives. Yeah. I used to have first IBM compatible computer I ever bought. Didn't even have a hard drive. It had two 3.5-inch floppy. They called them floppy, but they're not really floppy. The 5 1/4 were the floppy ones, but had two 3.5-inch drives, and that's how you could save stuff and load it back in and all. And then they updated the machine at work. It had two 10 meg hard drives. One was the main one, and the other one was the backup. And they were going to throw them out, and I'm, because they were upgrading to a 20 meg hard drive. And I said, well, what are you going to do with those? And my boss said, oh, you can have them. So I brought them home, figured out how to get them. So then I was hot stuff, man. I had two 10 meg hard drive in that IBM compatible machine. Yes, he says, my wife watches all those shows. She might be doing research. Yeah, I love those kind of shows. But the cold case one is probably my favorite, because I love seeing him catch those guys that think they got away with it. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here, and I got to go to the grocery store today, so I'm going to do that before it gets too hot, which I'm probably already too late for that, but I got to go. Anyway, everybody else have a good Monday morning, and if you're not doing nothing, we'll probably do this again tomorrow. Number 532 coming up. Seems like it was only yesterday we did number 500, and now we're at 530. It'll be 532 tomorrow. So anyway, y'all have a good one, and we will see y'all tomorrow morning.